Today I'm going to try to draw this church tower above a garden in Tavira, Portugal, and yep, drawing another church tower. Does it get old? Not for me. If anything, it's just more architectural practice, which is interesting to me, evidently, so I'm probably just gonna keep doing it. But for this one, why did I choose to frame it this way? Great question. Have you liked the video and subscribed yet? Great. Okay, let's keep going. I chose this framing because I was intensely interested in drawing the whole frame. I was eager to include the plants in the foreground, and I wanted to specifically, differentiate between them all, if I could. And even the wall and the trees in front of and behind it drew me in. Everything about this was of some interest to me, and the composition wasn't simply for the sake of an interesting video, although that helps. So I guess keep that in mind as we go, because, well, you'll see. So Tavira, it's actually been a few days since arriving, meaning I've had plenty of time to see the town, get my bearings, and form some kind of minor opinion. And to preface, in case you're unaware, my wife and I work remotely, and we've chosen to pretty much live our collective life abroad, full-time. In practical terms, that means we pick somewhere to live, find a place to stay there, and proceed to do so for a few weeks at a time. Sometimes it's about a month, sometimes longer. There are places that we repeat, and there are places wholly new to us, Tavira being the latter. We've never been here, never even been to this region of Portugal, and there's usually a little jolt, I guess, when we arrive somewhere new, or when I arrive somewhere new. Like the static electricity has been building up, like anticipation, and it finally gets released when we arrive. Sometimes for the better, it's like invigorating, and sometimes for the worse. Sometimes it's excitement, sometimes it's disappointment. However, there have been times when there is no jolt. Off the top of my head, I think back to a place like Riga in Latvia. Riga has a beautiful old town. It's in the Baltics, and I love the Baltics. But for some reason, arriving to Riga didn't jolt me in any way. I had a nice time. The weather cooperated. All the stuff that you'd expect went exactly the way you'd expect it to. But that's about it. And I don't think it really has anything to do with the place per se. Maybe it was me or the season or whatever. Doesn't even really matter. But Tavira is the same. There's nothing about it that's bad or off, other than it literally being the off season, but we talked about that yesterday. But there's also nothing about it that I'm feeling particularly drawn to, or honestly even wanting to do or see. There are a few little nodes of intrigue, but on the whole, it's a place that might prove a little bit difficult for me, most notably with respect to drawing. It's not a slight on the town, or Portugal, or Latvia while we're at it. But I don't know. This is one of the first places that I think I'll probably really struggle to draw, specifically because I didn't feel and haven't felt that jolt. Funny enough, I think yesterday and today's references seem like they might stand in like stark contrast to everything I'm saying. But again, it's not that there's anything wrong with it. It's not that there isn't beauty. It's something else. And it's difficult to put my finger on. Maybe it is just the fact that it's the off season. Maybe Riga felt that way for a similar reason. Anyway, I wanted to talk about that for a second because I really wonder what I will get up to here and how it might affect my drawings. If by the end of my time here you only see a handful, there's a reason. Anyway, so as you can see, I sure did spend a lot of time on this tower. And these foreground plants are starting to beg for my attention. As usual with towers like this, I want the proportions to be as close as possible, which is why I usually end up spending way too much time on them. It's funny because the tower seems like it requires so much more time and effort, at least to me. And that's because it's so structurally rigid, whereas the little trees in the foreground are organic, meaning I guess that they won't require as much precision, meaning they won't take up as much time. This is false. It's not true. And I feel insane to have to learn this lesson over and over again. The trees, however imperfect I feel I'm allowed to draw them, which is pretty imperfect, they still demand density to look dense. They need fleshing out. And it is kind of a delicate balance when considering the flowers to leaves to branches to trunk ratio and exactly how I'll manage to imply that density. Counterintuitively, the tower demands so much less fleshing out. Sure, there are lots of little angles and details, and the perspective is important, but it also comes with a fair bit of empty space. Between two simple lines, I can suggest an entire wall, but two simple lines don't go very far when drawing a tree. There's a lot more nuance to these objects, and time again, I don't give them the care that they deserve. And that's plain to see. Just look at the contrast between the two sides. Look at how much more solid the tower seems, and how formless and honestly kind of thoughtless the trees are. It's upsetting. The bigger tree on the left had some promise, but apparently I wasn't willing to go the distance. And actually, that's not even right. I'm not sure I even know how to go the distance in this case. Oh well. What do you think of my tower? Pretty squat. I agree. So anyway, if you liked the video, please like it and subscribe to the channel, of course. I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this one, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.